Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November DNN Southern Fried User Group meeting. We are getting together tonight with the theme of doing a bit of a community roundtable. Sometimes the most fun events we have are when we get together and talk about what we've been up to and what's been affecting us lately. Maybe ask for suggestions and tips from others who are tackling the same problems with DNN that we might be facing or trying to address. And because it is the week here before Thanksgiving, we thought it might be a nice idea to have a bit of a special theme for our roundtable tonight. So we will, as we normally do, jump into a few different community things before we jump into the topic. But I'll mention for everybody who's joining us here live tonight, we're going to do a bit of a community roundtable. So this is our DNN Southern Fried Thanksgiving meeting. Always give thanks. So we'll be passing the mic around to each of us who are online tonight to talk a little bit about, in your opinion, what you've been affected by DNN, of things you're thankful for. Either features in DNN that don't exist in other management systems or that solve a problem that you've had in the past and DNN is the perfect solution for it. That's your item that you can share with the group, that you give thanks for this feature or DNN. Or perhaps something about using DNN, having a business that you've built in which DNN is the backbone of your site or your services and what it's allowed you to be able to do. Maybe that's a good story to share as part of DNN Thanksgiving. So we'll have that topic coming around in just a moment. But we'll go ahead and jump in as we normally do to kind of a review of different community-related things. As we get through the fall here, there's not a lot of new activity going on. I will mention, because we were just talking about it a few minutes ago, that we post all of the Southern Fried meetings into our YouTube channel. Is the best place to find that, really, because our YouTube channel is always updated as Dave is running and processing these. You are able to get the meeting normally the night of, or if not, if there's problems with YouTube processing, maybe the next morning. But our YouTube channel is the best place to find all of our meetings. But I will mention that we try to keep updated the blog posts that are on the Southern Fried website, and those are updated here through last month previous. So they're almost all up to date. One of the things that these do have in them are bullet points and notes, so that if you're looking for a topic and want to find the information, you are able to search the website and hopefully get some keywords for those topics or items that were covered in the meeting. So that's a good place to come, is to the blog or to the YouTube site. As far as some other community announcements, I will mention that DNN Summit is chugging right along. The preparations for 2024 are coming along. The submission of speaker sessions is complete. They have been selected. I believe there are just a couple of small tweaks that Mitch Sellers and Cassidy are working through for spots and where everyone's going to be. So there are a couple of small things they are working out, but I expect that we'll be posting the list of sessions and the courses of the day very soon. I would say next week or the week after that, very likely here before the end of the month. So once we reach that point where we're posting the sessions, then it's time for people to start registering and booking it into their calendars. We'll be talking about December soon enough, and by the time we're talking about December, February might as well be tomorrow. So if you haven't registered already, take a look and register for DNN Summit. Also a reminder to everyone who participated in DNN Summit this year, 2023's DNN Summit, remember that you have full access to all of those videos, all of those sessions, all of the tracks. They are available for you to continue to watch and rewatch until we get into the week or so preceding the next session, in which they will be turned off. So if you need something to do over Thanksgiving weekend and you want to spend some time back with sessions you missed, here's a good reminder to do that. Let's see. I don't know, Dave or anyone else, anything else to mention about DNN Summit before I move on? All right.
Nothing really about DNN Summit, but are you looking for other stuff in the community?
Yes, let's do other communities, and then I'm going to shamelessly beg.
I just thought of there is quite a bit of work going on right now to prepare for DNN 10, which no dates or anything like that committed to, but it's just a effort continuing to going on. I think we briefly talked about it a little bit last month, but recently, if anybody's interested in some of the stuff that's going on, be sure to join the co-coding sessions that Daniel runs on Fridays. I think in general it's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and love to have people there. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to do anything or anything like that, but you can come, show up, and do some coding of your own and share and ask questions and stuff like that. It's a real informal environment. But the last co-coding session, Daniel was working on, I don't know, I'll steal your thunder if you want to share some of the stuff you're working on,
Daniel, do
Daniel.
you want to describe or share?
You're muted.
Share, let me look, but basically it's support for CSS variables in DNN. Let me see if I have anything shareable there. But yeah, we're implementing CSS variables in DNN 10, so you can define on a per site basis branding, colors, guidelines, rounded or square controls. We want to keep that list very small, but still useful. And then it's not something we're enforcing on anybody, but they're available. So if you want your module to use the brand colors, just consume the CSS variables. Same thing for themes. And well, now it just loaded. Let me see if I'm in a state where it's shareable.
Ryan would have to stop sharing if you're going to share something. So
it is not in a state that is current. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I can. Okay. I could share this there. So basically, the UI has not been built yet, but there will be a persona bar module to manage those styles on a site level. And basically, DNN will spit out like ambiently a set of CSS variables for primary colors, secondary colors, tertiary colors, and host or optionally admins can manage this. We want out of the box to not allow admins to do this, so the host needs to opt into that. So for instance, here the DNN color primary, it's set to blue. So if I edit the HTML of something,
Coding on the fly, example on the fly, nice.
So you see this like theme as the color art coded here. So I can change it instead to use var DNN color primary and color. It's not color, it's background color. I'm sorry. Hold on. Reload. Inspect. Overlay this one. It would be the background color. Okay, which is hard coded to this. So I can change it var DNN color primary, and now it consumes that.
Right.
So if the admin goes and changes the CSS variable, it will apply to anybody that decided to consume it live on the fly without anything else to implement than just using the variable.
and that could extend to your content as well, even if like, let's think of like people that are using structured content solutions, if they're building their templates, they can use these, CSS variables and have this apply to that as well.
Yeah.
So it's very nice. And the other thing we were working on, were you done, Daniel, or did you have other? Was the there's been a new theme designed for DNN 10 to get a little bit of a look and feel change because it's kind of long overdue. And part of that is to make that so that it is as dependency free as it can possibly be. Because one of the challenges with the history has been that all the things have usually tapped into a CSS framework of some sort. So like in the case of Exilion, it's Bootstrap, but it is on Bootstrap 3. And we can't really maintain those dependency versions without them being breaking changes for people. So, if we were to update that to Bootstrap 4 and then Bootstrap 5, well, if people were using it and they had content that was using those frameworks, then of course it would break it. So it's kind of a conundrum. So for the maintenance sake of it, we're doing a frameworkless, theme. It is SaaS based. And what we've got so far is the structure of the theme, kind of the architecture, if you will, of the theme with a SaaS architecture in place for it and a build system for the theme. Currently, that is using Gulp, but we're looking at potentially removing all those dependencies and just going with something like a roll-up. For those that aren't familiar with roll-up, it's similar to Webpack, but just lighter weight and faster. And kind of configuration based, but that is the idea. And Daniel's doing some work on his minimal theme that he has to see kind of where we can go with that aspect of it. But that's kind of one of the next steps. And it's integrated into the DNN build system, so we already have it properly building it and putting the package in the right place. None of the look and feel stuff has actually been started working on that yet in the theme, but I mean, it's been designed, but it's not been actually implemented. So.
Well, that's encouraging. I've got an important question or a question about an important feature. You said that it's been set up, it's been designed, but that hasn't been implemented yet. But very, very key importantly, has it been named yet? Can we make sure that it's a name that clients or people will be able to pronounce without wondering how to pronounce it?
It has been named so far, and it is a friendly name that can be pronounced and spelled, and it actually means something on top of that.
All right, we don't have to go further than that. That can be a reveal for later. I just
I
glad
kind of wanted to
have,
save the name as for a little bit of marketing oomph there.
won't have an X or 7 zeros or
Yeah.
letter or the
just with that description, I'm gonna spec for something like red, black, white. Something like that.
There you go. Blue. You remember back in the days when there were 4 themes, right? Red, blue, green, and what was the other one? Hey, there's your Family Feud question there, Ryan.
That would be a Jeopardy question that we would do. How many colors were the original themes in? Yep. We could have a whole column of just. But that is a good segue. Unless David, did you have anything else that you wanted to pull back in?
Nope, that was it. We're excited about it though. But it's gonna be a little bit of time, kind of wrapping that up, and then I think the only other major thing that was hoped to be put into DNN 10 that we have not started on yet at all is the integration of what was known as polydeploy in there. So it'll be, the idea is that I say we haven't started. We actually have. Some work has been done to put that into the branch in the right place, but actual work on revamping the user experience and so forth and renaming everything hasn't been done yet. And I think Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the name of that was going to be bulk install. Is that right?
He's mute, but he said yes.
Yes, if I remember correctly.
I think it was a bulk install. Yeah.
Yep.
So something a little more generic that makes it more obvious what it is. So yeah, but that'll be exciting because you can everything that you know and love about Polydeploy would be there, just in a slightly better user experience. Well, not slightly better, a lot better user experience.
Right. Well, we are in the middle of this SoFri meeting, our November the 16th meeting, but I need to put a request out there to our standing peanut gallery of Southern Fried DNN, attendees, because we are preparing for a different game show and party next month. So December the 14th is the date when we're going to be having our next Southern Fried meeting. So that is Thursday, December the 14th. You'll notice that's not the third Thursday. We're bumping that forward. And in the past, we have done DNN Jeopardy, and DNN Jeopardy is always a lot of fun. The last couple of games that we've done have been the DNN $10,000 pyramid, which is also a lot of fun. But one of the things that I've wanted to do for a while is have a different format game, which is a lot of fun, and it is Family Feud. Family Feud is always fun for the conversations and jokes and antics of everyone participating. One of the key things of Family Feud is that the host says that they've asked 100 people for their top answers, and they have collected the surveys together. So I've got 2 asks for everyone who's watching this video and everyone who's here participating with us tonight. The first ask is, if you have not filled out the Family Feud survey, we still need a few more survey responses to say that we've gotten up to 100 responses. That on the DNN community website in the blog post area, so resources and blogs, you will find our post from a few months ago where we were asking for the community to please fill out this Family Feud game survey. What this has in it is a Google form where you're asked all types of questions so that you can answer and have your answers show up in the list of our responses. So they range from everything from, what's a feature or module in DNN that you use the most? Open text answer. Or name something that a client asks you to change in an old website. Open text answer. To, some more fun things like name something you shouldn't do when your boss or your client is nearby. So we'll have a lot of fun going through the Southern Fried Family Feud event in just a few weeks, December the 14th. So number 1, I need everyone to fill out that survey if you haven't already. Number 2, we need to ask that I have half of my contestants. Family Feud is very often 2 different sides. They'll have Pepsi on one side and Coke on the other. They will have some type of rivalry between groups of people. Maybe it's vampires on one side and pirates another time. Today, or for ours, we need 8 total people to participate in this. 4 on one side and 4 on the other. I have asked, and Cassidy has graciously agreed and volunteered that we will have 10-pound gorilla on one side of the team, and we will have 4 members of 10-pound gorilla ready to challenge in Family Feud. I need 4 people on the other side, and I was hoping that we might be able to have our Southern Fried Peanut Gallery. David, Daniel, Steve, Marco, Jim, Sherman, everybody who's here today, everyone who comes on the regular. If you are able to jump on and answer questions and participate in the video conference with us on that night, I'd love to have one side be the Southern Fried family and the other side be the 10-pound gorilla family. So I've already got 4 people. I need 4 more to confirm for me that you'll be ready to play Family Feud, and then we'll be ready to go for some fun as we finish out the year. December 14th. It will be an evening meeting at 6:30. And I think that's about it for it. David, you want to chime in on any of that as well?
Nope, sorry, was muted.
No worries.
I posted some stuff in chat. we need chaos, so you need to invite our DNN diva.
You know, Alessandra. The Alessandra will be fantastic in Family Feud. We need to make sure she's seen an episode of it first.
Yeah, true.
Very famously, she was in the middle of doing pretty well in DNN Jeopardy, and she admitted she'd never seen an episode of Jeopardy. She didn't know how the game worked, didn't understand the questions. Answers were posed in the form of a question. It was it was a lot of fun just for that reason, if nothing else. Good point. Yes. So we'll put out some reminders to folks and invite everyone to come back. If you're watching this at home or if you're here with us online, plan to visit us early next month, December the 14th, and we'll have our end of the year party with DNN Family Feud. Okay. At this point, unless we have any other community announcements or community items, I think we can head back to our primary topic for the evening, which is this. Oops. I was trying to get a little bit of a bigger graphic here for this. This topic in which we are going to pass around the user group for the folks that are here online right now to talk a little bit about DNN Thanksgiving. The tee up for your prompt for this is maybe it's feature driven. Maybe it's something that you really appreciate about DNN. We've got DNN 10 in the future with some neat new features coming that are bonus because we already have a system that we love and work in every day and love the features of. Maybe there's some features that you just appreciate and want to give a call out to, having appreciated what they give you compared to other systems. Or maybe there's something about DNN that you want to give thanks for in what it's done for you or your business or what you've been able to build and do with DNN. So here we kick off DNN Thanksgiving. And Daniel, you're top left on the screen for me. Would you like to start off by talking a little bit and sharing your side of it for DNN Thanksgiving?
I wasn't ready for that. Well, I mean, I'd like to thank like everybody that contributes to DNN source code, documentation, the interactions in Slack, Discord. We have a really great ecosystem. Yeah, I'm very grateful, and it's the thing that originally brought me to DNN was the people around it. And I'm glad that's still alive and very active.
That's a good point. A good thing to be thankful for. Our community is certainly what I enjoy about seeing everyone at DNN conferences and when we get together, for sure. Well, I tell you what, I'll pick up the next one, and then after that, we'll go to who's next, at least on my video screen. Who's next to the side of me is Jim Peterson. So Jim will go next, but I'll go ahead and chime in and say that, for what I'm thankful for with DNN is experiences. That because of working within DNN and the types and the variety of types of end clients who are using DNN, I've been able to travel and go to a lot of different places and have a lot of different experiences that if I was building alone within, the code and the work and the things that we were doing before we encountered DNN, I might have stayed local. I might have had different things that were going on, I don't know, NASCAR related or Lowe's related and things like that are here in our area of Mooresville, North Carolina. But being connected to DNN has given me a breadth of clients and interactions outside of the local area or outside of the networking connections that I'd already had. So I've found myself, flying to Alabama and going into an Air Force University location and being siloed and underneath of, a guard or escort who comes with me while I type away and work on something in DNN. So I've had to bring things in on paper. I've had to bring code in on paper and retype it, or have double vetted modules before I install them. So I've been in government locations. I've been in large business locations doing things. I've worked for government organizations helping them upgrade systems. And so I've kind of been a lot of different places and done a lot of variety that I would have never encountered if I wasn't working within DNN. And so I am definitely one of those business people who built our business and have sustained our business for the past 15 plus years because of DNN and because of what we can do in DNN. So I'm very thankful for what DNN means to what we've been able to do. All right, Jim, let's pass to you. What's your thankful around the Thanksgiving table?
Well, at least for the user group that generally comes to these, I'm the unique position in that I'm actually the user / client, as opposed to the contractor. So the thing that stands out the most, at least with me, is that I stepped into an existing DNN installation back in 2012 or 13, I forget when it was. It was 702 was the version that wasn't upgraded until earlier this year. So the first thing that stands out was the fact that it just plain worked for that long without a lot of nurturing. But then the other thing that really helped is that it was and continues to be very easy to understand, at least in terms of the base installation, without getting into all of the extra stuff. Without if you're not going to be dropping in other modules like the 260 and stuff. If you just go with the standard installation, one, it just generally just plain works without a lot of thought, and it's also easy to understand and implement just by looking at what's there. Especially with having moved the server for production. I think I'm on the 4th server already just for production, and I can't even count how many times we've stood up yet another test system for it, or test environment, and dropped it, bring it back up. So at least for what we're doing and have been doing, it's the ease of use and the understandability of it. And the other thing I appreciate is I'll plug the DNN community website. Although I don't post questions, just lurking on that site is also a very good learning opportunity, especially with a lot of the questions that get posted there. Watching the type of questions that get posted each week and looking at the answers, it's also helping to understand more of the system in terms of how DNN itself works.
I think that's a great compliment to the system, and part of what you described is long-term stability. Even if it hadn't been upgraded for a while, it just worked, and there wasn't a need to get in there and keep messing with things. That's not something you find with other systems that need constant updates just to stay stable. That is fantastic. All right, Steve. Steve, you would be up next, and then Marco would be coming up next after that. So, Steve, are you ready? What do you think about around the DNN Thanksgiving table?
I think from my perspective, it's really the community of developers and people involved with it. I've been using it since one of the first versions of DNN, when you had those big, thick textbooks on it that weighed about, 20 pounds each, and I would sort of study through them and try to figure out what the heck was going on. And just watching the way the platform, the whole ecosystem has matured is really quite something. And then it's sometimes interesting. I go, I'm looking around for something and I stumble upon an old DNN or Too Sexy YouTube video, and it's just amazing to see, say, the improvements that have happened in, say, the last decade, and also I think the last maybe 5 years. I don't know how many years. I feel that the community's really had a renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's in the books, and I went to look at my bookshelf to see if I could find it right there. I've done some packing recently, so I don't have everything with me at finger touch where I used to have them. Who has one of those old DNN books around the corner? David, you got one? Propping up a desk somewhere. Daniel, you got one?
So
Not
I didn't
recently.
have time to. There's a big reflection, but I bought the books just for a background of my head. Because of the glass, you don't really see
Let's
that
see.
big.
There you go.
Just for the looks.
That's them.
I have .NET Nuke 5, .NET Nuke ASP.NET Portals, and .NET Nuke Module Programming.
Yep.
But you don't have the best book that was ever written.
Oh.
Dummies.
Mm.
No, it was the that other publishing company, Pact or whatever it was, Pact.
Yeah.
Well, there was a couple of them there, but one of them was particularly good. I think Michael Washington was probably one of the biggest
Contributors.
players in that. Yeah, it was really, really good.
Back when we used to look to books to learn information, that is a rough ride. Well, thank you, Steve. I think that was excellent. You know, like you described, the community is a thing that keeps us all connected, and you know, the learning and being on, like kind of like Jim said earlier, being on the community website and seeing what people are doing and asking questions and supporting each other is a big part of what we've been doing. But what's next, Marco? What do you have to share with us for the DNN Thanksgiving table?
Well, guys, in my case, I'm definitely grateful for the platform itself. Thanks to the platform, I have a company on my own down here in Costa Rica, and I'm able to provide fast and effective web solutions to the clients who actually approach to us, and it's all about DNN, you know. It's the bare bone of the businesses that we have here. We're able to help businesses sell their goods and services over the internet, and at the end, you know, their clients are visiting a bunch of DNN websites, and it's helping our clients to grow. So definitely the platform itself, and obviously I'm definitely grateful because of the people around the platform, especially guys like you, Ryan, Daniel, David, and everybody else that is not here, not only in the US, but in Europe as well. There's a lot of people involved and actually making sure that, you know, the platform continues, you know, and it's updated. And even though you guys probably are familiarized with, or are just, it's just like normal for you guys, you know, to do those efforts because it's an ongoing thing for you guys. But, you know, from our perspective, especially from my perspective, it's been an incredible job from everyone that it's involved in the platform, because thanks to you guys, thanks to these sort of events, thanks to all the efforts, all the weekly sessions that Daniel runs, I'm unfortunately most of them unable to assist because of schedule, but you know, everybody is putting, you know, their 2 cents on trying to make DNN as great as possible, and I think you guys are doing it. You know, it's growing, the community it's growing, everybody is participating. I actually recently went through the community website, and I went in through the to the forums, and I checked a subject that I don't remember the theme, but somebody asked, and it was like a new guy. David probably remembers, or I don't know if he looks at it, but the actual person after the people who gave them the answers, he actually said it, you know, he put it on the post. This is a great community, you know, thank you for all the information and all the details. So I think that's a pretty good reflection of what DNN is right now, and and definitely I'm grateful for everything that it's behind it, especially the people, because without you guys, this thing, this DNN platform wouldn't be what it is. So I'm just grateful for that, and hopefully, looking forward for all the upcoming years.
Well said, Marco. And you share, I think, the same thing that we all feel, especially about the community and people helping each other. I think that before we worked within DNN, we worked in other CMS or other, so long ago that there weren't a terrible amount of CMSs at the time, but we worked with many different ones. And not all of the communities help each other. They might post questions, but then they're rude to each other, or they never answer questions, or they answer questions obtusely, too complicated, and they don't answer it in a way that you can learn and unpack. And when we got connected with the DNN community, it was very different. It's a friendly place for people to teach each other and learn. And I think that's what I've grown into. My expectation of a community, of a technology community, is what we do here in DNN. Pitch in and help each other when all boats rise with the tide. David, how about you? What are you thankful for around the DNN table here this evening?
I've been ever since you shared the idea of doing this, Ryan, I've been really kind of trying to, only if I had one thing to kind of share, with what I'm thankful for as it relates to DNN. I it's hard to hone in on just one thing, but I kind of come up with three things. A couple of them are really obvious. It's like, well, it gave me something to geek out on, and but why is what I asked myself. It's like, why DNN? I was involved in iBuySpy portal, I guess, so it was ASP.NET. The interest in that, because I was doing development in classic ASP, and when Microsoft partnered with that company to release the iBuySpy portal and the iBuySpy store, kind of to show the best practices, I guess, which is kind of funny thinking back on it. That was a best practices thing. But I kind of got hooked, with the .NET side of things then. So the thing that I'm thankful for really is that it gave me something to geek out on. But the reason that I guess beyond just technical reasons has to come back to the community, because from day one, we were different. The DNN community was different. You said it earlier, Ryan. I think some other people have alluded to it. It's like, I've been involved, in a lot of other communities, and they didn't have a sense of community. They may have wanted it, may have desired it, may have been some kind people and all that along the way, but I have never seen another community help people so much as this community. So really from day one, all the way up, I guess I have to really just be thankful for the community, because it allowed me to geek out in a safe environment, because I didn't know what I was doing as much in the beginning, and two, the business side of things, our business is not necessarily built on DNN, but it is a foundational component of what allows us to do what we do. So I'm thankful for that. And yeah, that's about it. It always comes back to the friends and the connections, that have been made over the years. All the other stuff is just kind of, it's like, yeah, but we've seen some dynamic, over the years with DNN, because, early days were kind of like pioneering a new space, and it was fun being involved then, and then things got more corporate focus, and then funding came along, and then there's turmoil with the community and the corp. And I don't remember what year it was, but my guess, it was probably around 4 years ago or so, before they sold the company, I was seeing this kind of decline in the community aspect of DNN, and that gave me an opportunity to kind of sink my teeth in and try to rally people up and care, a little bit, and that was fun. And seeing it eventually, slowly but surely, start to get back. I mean, over the last couple of years, it's been like the old days, but a little different, but it kind of like the
Different
old
thing.
days. Yeah. And we have that sense of community again. And there's, it's neat, because I think it took a while for people to really understand that a community was running the, running the
Community hadn't gone
show.
anywhere, and that it was still the
Yeah. I just think people weren't speaking up because there was no environment to speak up in, really, so to speak. So I mean, think about it. The community side as we know it today didn't even exist before. There was a community, but it was in different mediums. But I don't know. That was a little long-winded way to say that it always comes back to the people and the connection. I mean, I have some of the best friends I've ever had in my life in this community, right? Because there's a common, I don't know, common interest and, just camaraderie. I mean, I think it's not always about doing the job or getting it right or, or knowing how to do something or whatever. It's really just about the connections along the way and feeling safe to learn new things and, with people that you enjoy hanging out with. And that's all over the world. Like Marco, you were mentioning, folks in Europe. I mean, I just live for the DNN Connect events, going to those. It's so much fun.
All right, we get around to Sherman. Sherman is our last on the roundtable here. Sherman, what do you have to echo some of the ideas from tonight? Do you have something specific that you want to share from DNN Thanksgiving?
Yes, can you hear me?
We do. You sound great.
All right. For some reason, my video's not on. Well, I guess myself, again, I kind of said this before, I'm dirt under all your feet. I guarantee you that. I'm so grateful of the developers. The community's important, don't get me wrong. But man, my hat's off to the developers for all of this and to stay with it. I guess my background, I wouldn't even be considered a computer programmer. I know I'm going to hear it from all you C guys out there, but I come from Visual Basic is where I come from. And actually, the state of Colorado, when I was doing work for them, they called me a VB gunslinger. And so basically what it got down to is I come from the desktop world, retired from the federal government writing software for them, desktop. And I guess where I'm kind of going with it, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have a place to go with my own business. I guess to allude to that is VB died is what happened. And the community felt abandoned. And ironically, I will say, kind of like what I'm hearing about this community. Yeah, we are tight. I like to think we're tight. VB was that way up until about VB5. What happened is VB5 became so commercial and everybody was at each other's throats trying to take advantage of the situation, afraid they'd lose some business. So they just quit talking, start getting ugly with each other. But as VB died, heck, I even went up to Microsoft campus when they launched Light Switch. And I thought for sure that I had a migration path to move from the desktop to the web. I broke out in 1991, believe me. My first CD burner cost $50,000. I've still got it. It's a Yamaha 4X. And I even went out to New Research Triangle to learn how to burn a CD. And then by 95, they're on board on every computer, sickened me. But it gave me about a 4-year head start on everybody else. I don't mean to digress and ramble, but basically what it is I had when I was working for the Army, I had a call him a student, an intern come in, and he was trying to convince me I needed to go to web development. And he's actually the one that turned me on. He was first Army last time I heard, but he kind of turned me on to it, and it really opened my eyes that, by God, there is a migration path away from VB. Now, I did take the C#. Heck, I even went through the boot camps, become certified, but I don't know anything about it. And I guess where my situation was I was a turnkey programmer. I could sit in a room by myself 20 hours a day, chain smoke and slam coffee and never miss a deadline ever. But by God, as I started moving over to the website, I realized I'm not turnkey. And DNN gave me the turnkey solution. That's absolutely it right there. And I would not be here today if it wasn't for the community, the developers devoting all their time to this. I don't have time to learn everything. And I kind of joke to a lot of younger people I meet that's trying to go to college. They try to figure out, well, how do you know all of this? I ate the elephant one bite at a time, as and I didn't have to take everything on. And that's really what DNN's done for me. I didn't have to eat the whole elephant. You guys put it in a box that even somebody stupid like me can stumble through. But in today's business, now I'm my own little oil field company, but in today's business, yeah, you got to be on the web. And so, I guess over since 91, that's been a long time ago, but I've seen the migration come across. And I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad you guys will even let me sit in with you. So I thank all of you folks for your time. And like I say, I apologize rambling, but I really appreciate you guys.
Love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sherman, you touched on part of what I say about myself too, that my company, we consider ourselves DNN integrators primarily. We do a little bit of development. We do theme development and some other things, but for the most part, we use DNN and then put together solutions with it. And it gives us and all the members of my team an ability to put together solutions that if they were to code it by hand, they wouldn't be able to. There's too many moving parts, too complex, or they might get the basics but have nowhere near the security necessary for it. So the fact that we put things together with DNN allows us to put together much bigger solutions than we would have been able to manually write if we were doing it back in the day.
Well, Ryan, to expand on that, it's still the best kept secret for some reason. Why waste your time writing all that code when you've got a team that's really put together a great product? And I'm with you. I'm done with all the windshield time. I'm getting too old to sit here and program 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, year in, year out, watch my kids grow up and graduate. I don't have time to do it all over again. So thank you guys for putting this in a box.
That is very well said, Sherman. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you to everybody who shared here tonight in our DNN Thanksgiving Roundtable.
Hey, Ryan, I was just thinking, it's really interesting hearing everybody's response to your prompt there. Because isn't it neat? There are no two people in this call that's spoken up that have the same perspective and expertise within DNN.
Sure.
And that's kind of a testament to DNN itself, right? It's like you don't have to be a whatever, fill in the blank, like for you, a lot of it's integration, it's putting together pieces or developing things that work with other things. For Daniel, is doing back end, APIs and doing some cool stuff like that in the bowels. For Jim, it's figuring out how to use what's there to work for a particular use case in business, and for Steve, I mean, it's just
Marco,
really cool.
Whole websites for all of his end customers and, setting up all of those businesses. Yeah.
It allows you to thrive in your world. It's like it's almost like we're just a sliver of what's possible too, because DNN is so rich and so robust, it allows you to kind of, I mean, one person may be an expert in X, but the other person totally different. That's like foreign to them. It's like, yeah, but we're in the same community, it's like, and it's in the same product. It's like, but yeah, but I'll use it this way. It's really cool to hear everybody have such diverse answers.
I agree. I agree. Well said. Well, I thought I'd wrap up tonight by switching gears just a little bit with Thanksgiving. One of the things that we encourage in the community is we give back into the community, and we've received a lot, and we've been benefiting from the use of DNN, and we have so many things to be thankful for. Sometimes it's nice to think or focus for a few minutes about giving back and heading in the other direction. And one of the things that we have in the DNN community is a connection inside of Kiva. KIVA.org is a micro funding or a micro lending community that allows you to put in small amounts of funds, and they get then loaned out to projects or businesses or proprietors who are running small businesses, and they are asking for loans. So they have to get together information and ask for a small loan. And I first remember running across this at one of the DNN conferences, I think in Florida, one of the DNN.
Yeah, it was Ernst Peter did a presentation on it. Yeah, it was Palm Beach with Ernst Peter. Domingo was.
Yeah. And so, I thought I might finish kind of our Thanksgiving theme here by suggesting that if you haven't seen this before, if you haven't participated in it, it's something where you can drop in $20. And your $20 might buy you, well, I mean, it used to buy you 3 or 4 coffees, but maybe now it'll buy you 1 coffee and some change in your pocket because of the cost of living increases for everything from McDonald's to everything else. But here at the DNN community group inside of Kiva, you can take a look at what's been done. And over the years, there's been $37,000 loaned from amongst around 40 different DNN community members. But if you look at it, that's 1,290 loans that have been, put out. Let me see if these load a couple of things that I recall it doing in the future, in the past. Come on. So they kind of show you the types of businesses and the locations and countries that that it covers. That's not exactly what I want. Let's go to impact. If not, I'll go to loans here in a second. There we go. This is nice. So you can see that the loans that the DNN community has supported since 2011, has included education for 140 or so loans, for businesses that are starting up. I know myself, that's one of the things I look for is people who want computers to do programming or learn development. But it can cover a lot of different types of loans, and as you can see, they've benefited countries around the world. They benefit the United States if you want to, pick loans out of folks in the United States, but you can really kind of pick all over. Myself, I tend to do more by type, by type of loan or type of thing that people are looking to do. But I thought I might end with that as a suggestion. If you find yourself feeling generous and you want to benefit folks that you don't know at all, drop $20 into Kiva and see what happens. And when they repay that loan to you, you can loan it back out again. You can always pull the money right back out again. Any money you put into it, you can pull out, aside from some fees. There are sometimes matchings that go on with these things. So it's something that's entertaining and fun for you to do that helps other people. And I find it rewarding. So thought I'd suggest that with everyone as well. I think with that, I'm finished with what I wanted to go through tonight for DNN Thanksgiving. If anyone else has questions or community related things to talk about, let's pass that around for just a moment. Otherwise, I'd say that we can wrap up a bit early tonight and maybe all make sure we have extra time to fill out our DNN December game show quiz. If you haven't filled out that survey for Family Feud for us to do December the 14th, please go and fill out that survey. Otherwise, we can say that we'll be wrapping up our meeting and see you on December the 14th and the second week in December, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. for DNN Family Feud.
Ryan, I just found someone in there while you were talking. I appreciate the reminder because we used to do this on a regular basis. Somebody that's kind of looking for some, I just posted a link in the chat there. If anybody's interested in something kind of specific to software and things like that, she only needs like $150 left for helping with designs and stuff.
Photographer and graphic designer requesting a loan to purchase devices and software to improve on designs. That's exactly the kind of loan I look for. I think about myself when I was starting out and the things that I needed, and sometimes just a few small things made a big difference in what I could do or be able to do. So this is a great example of the kind of loans, and 2 or 3 people getting together, $20 each, you make a long way towards this very quickly. Thank you, David. This is a good link.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and finish the recording and end the meeting for tonight. Thank you, everyone who joined us online. Thank you for watching this later. You can always add comments into the DNN Southern Fried DNN User Group's website comments, or onto the YouTube video, or where we also cross-post on the DNN community. But better than that, come join us in December or at one of our next meetings, and we can all talk online together. Thank you very much, everyone. See you December the 14th.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
It was a
Good
good
night,
one.
all.
Bye.